Hello everyone, and welcome to Game 1 in our
map.
series between Cubit32 and Pbhead.
Are you still there, Zoltar?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm still good to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at... Let's go ahead and look at this map, see that we have plenty of resources. You are correct, Soren. We got a lot of carbon available in the middle. Got a lot of iron available. I think everybody's going to be able to do basically whatever they want this game.
So this is one of the odd things about Reveal Map, is sometimes you get these maps where there's plenty of resources, which means basically you might as well just wait.
Yeah, exactly.
But having said that, I think we all know where Pbhead is looking. He's looking at that high and medium carbon in the middle of the map. Good spot in the middle. There's water nearby. There's aluminum nearby. Silicon's not too far away. It's just a great scavenger spot.
Certainly.
And I would think he would found just a little to the southwest of it, maybe. Not in, I would put it in the crater.
I would go in the crater. I mean, the crater's big enough here, right?
I would go in the other crater. Chomp up some
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm
carbon.
talking about. You go in the big crater to the west. You get some of that carbon available. I think you can get like 40 or 60 carbon out of that, depending on where you plant. And you're closer to that water, which you might just want to grab up.
Are they deadlocked?
They might be. It might be a case where nobody wants to found. Both people want that extra claim from HQ level 2 right now. We'll just have to see who goes first. Yeah.
I actually just programmed something yesterday to fix this, where it will basically it'll start counting up. You'll start getting $100 a second to whoever founds first, and whoever found second doesn't get it. Is
that just once the found colony has hit $0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So,
we'll have to see what happens for now. Without that incentive in play, both of them are going to want that new claim. I don't know who's going to bite the bullet first. You can still get some advantages from founding first. Maybe both of them just waiting for the other to get tired. We've never seen players actually do this before, unfortunately. At least not in this tournament. But some advantages you can get from founding first are obviously that you're going to have faster access to that market by just a slim margin. If you click through fast enough, you can get the cheap prices on the aluminum that you want to purchase. You can get the better sell prices on things like silicon and carbon. So we're going to have to see if either of them feels like taking that advantage. Both of them really just waiting each other out for this new claim, though. Which means, unfortunately, we have a pretty...
Yeah, I'm actually going to suggest we restart.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what else to do.
We can. Now we'll see what Pbhead has to say. Because neither of you will found is why. And then we'll turn off Reveal Map because you've decided to do this way. It's good to have a solution for this popping into the game at least soon. But
scientific colony found.
well, Pbhead decided he's going to found, and he's actually going scientific up in that corner. Definitely an understandable play, a solid play. That's not a spot that either of us had really identified as a strong one yet. However, and Cubit also going scientific. Well, scientific is considered to be very powerful on this patch. So
I guess so. Man, I would have gone scavenger on this map.
I really like PB's spot in a way. I'm concerned about its access to water and the fact that he did go scientific. He's going to need to get up to HQ level 2 very quickly to likely secure some of the exceptionally valuable water claims on the other end of the map. But he's on top of iron, so he has good steel production, and he's also right next to aluminum, so he can go quite heavily into that to support early upgrades and not get punished in the late game.
Why didn't he go for the spot kind of in the east, where there's a big clump of aluminum and iron and silicon nearby? I don't understand.
Well, I think he really wanted that aluminum adjacent to his base in particular. When the aluminum is right next to you, you can actually take way too much of it in the early game and then transition it very, very easily. If you have your aluminum separated from you, pretty much all you can do with it late game is move it on into power.
Yeah, but the gap is just not that big down there. Oh well, whatever. I'm just surprised the one spot I would have gone for scientific, neither of them chose.
Yeah.
I like Cubit's spot a lot, however. He's got a silicon triangle nearby him, he's got a carbon triangle, he's near the water. Although Pbhead had already grabbed 2 of those waters, which is a good move on his part.
Yeah, exactly. Pbhead managing to secure 2 of those water. It was very important, actually, that he got the found first in this particular case, because it allowed him to go ahead and push on past his opponent and get to those water, despite how much closer Cubit was.
Yeah, having said that, I like Cubit's spot and position better in general, and he's got the extra claim at level 2. So I don't know. I like him. I like where he's sitting right now.
Yeah, the extra claim at level 2 going to be a big deal here for Cubit, especially because he does have access to that already. Scientific's always upgrading to level 2 very quickly.
All right, 24 for the geotherm. You think that's right?
Oh, definitely. That's going to even up the claim count. I think people underbid geotherms a lot most of the time. When you've got a new claim available to you, I mean, it is a new claim. It just says, hey, you kind of have to take a power claim right now. But later on, when you're sorting out through your claims, you don't have to think about power because you've got geotherms established already.
Right.
So
he's already almost. He could build a geotherm pretty soon, but I'm guessing he's going to go. He can actually build it right now, but I assume he's waiting for the upgrades.
Yeah, I think he's going to push to HQ level 3 fairly quickly. We can see he's already sold down enough steel to purchase up his glass. Cubit has not gotten there yet, by the way. This is another big deal about founding first, though, right? I mean, Cubit, he got to those lit prices a little bit later, and so Pbhead's managing to maybe pull ahead just a bit to HQ level 3.
I would love to see Pbhead nuke the medium aluminum that Cubit got. I think that would be a real waste of a tile then for Cubit.
Well, you have to spend 2 nukes to nuke down a scientific, and so
you're right.
It's a little bit risky, but I would kind of like to see Pbhead. We can see he's been keeping the aluminum price high for a while, kind of forcing Cubit to take that. He wasn't selling down aluminum at all. Yeah. And now he can decide to flood it if he wants. And yeah, he could also just mutiny, control that market. There are a lot of options here for PB and how he wants to play this out.
Yeah, boy, they're really fighting over those water tiles. Pbhead is going to claim the last one right now. Unless Cubit can get there first, and he will not.
Yeah, he's absolutely not going to. That's going to be 3 farms for PB. 3
Cubit
reactors
should be able
for
to
Cubit.
Upgrade now. I don't know what he's waiting for.
Yeah, Cubit, let's go ahead and check. He does not have the aluminum, in fact, is what he does not have. And he's good 7,000 short because of it. He's also actually moved into a new claim. And this is something I talk about way too much, apparently, but he's going to take a geotherm with that now. I don't like that move, but I think Pbhead might sell enough aluminum.
He had the fuel. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it looked to me like if he sold the fuel, he could have bought the aluminum.
Yeah, he went for a new claim instead.
And normally, you don't really want to upgrade until you can actually buy the buildings, but in this case, I really would have wanted to see him grab that 6th water tile that PB grabbed out from under him. I think he could have done that if he was a bit faster.
Yeah, I think that was an option available to him, but pushing to the new claim instead, not going to happen. Cubit has now managed to hit HQ level 3.
Yep. What do you think he's going to do? Go for glass? Grab that silicon triangle?
I think glass is the obvious play, at least for Cubit here, and for a good reason.
He's got the electrolysis already anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. I think he'd be good to go with glass. Energy Vault, though, this patent...
Wow.
Alright, these players valuing this appropriately.
That's nice to see.
In my opinion.
It's an odd patent, but it certainly has value.
Yeah, it's definitely a situational patent. 28,000, probably reasonable to let that go for 28,000. Don't want to push too much higher than that, but with power at its ridiculous price, that's going to provide players with a 200 power stockpile here.
And he doesn't necessarily need to goon squad his geotherm, although it's immediately mutiny.
Yeah.
Nice.
Still going to be a nice amount of debt reduction over to PB based on that, although it would be nice of him to establish his own geotherm, perhaps.
Yeah. So what do you think, farms versus electrolysis? Who made the right move?
I think in a 1v1, it's going to show that PB made the right move. Electrolysis, there's just not enough pressure on fuel to make this particularly good in this case, in my opinion. So I don't think the electrolysis play can beat the farm play on this patch in a 1v1 scenario.
I really wish he'd gone for the upgrade to grab that 6th tile, and then PB would be stuck with just those 2 farms.
Yeah.
I think that would have been. I think that could have been a huge turning point in the game.
All right, finally Pbhead going to establish his own geotherm after upgrading. Pbhead is actually going to be the one to move into glass here, whereas Cubit has just moved into solar panels. So that's interesting. Oh man, and a steel shortage going on. Both players sitting on very similar amounts of steel here. I'm wondering if one of them is going to sell out of this. very quickly to try and get to an
Someone
expansion.
just did.
Yep, Pbhead
Which
did.
one? Pbhead. Good move, PB.
A little bit. Might have been just a hair early, but
Well,
it's definitely
if you do
the
it before your
safer play.
opponent, it's never too early.
Exactly. Definitely the safer play. Water has also gotten very expensive here.
No.
That's something to pay attention to this game.
His geotherm is up now. He was losing about 200 to 300 a second on power.
Yeah, but he had that geotherm
now Cubit's
constructing.
making
He's only
1,300 on
44.
power.
Well, Cubit's paying off 1,300 in debt on power.
Yeah.
Which is important to do. It's nice to pay off debt in a 1v1 scenario, especially to keep that stock price afloat. However, it's important to note at this point that 3 of Cubit's tiles, while not wasted, are not making money at the moment. In fact, 6 of his tiles, because he's turned off his reactors as well for some reason.
Yeah. Who has the goon squad? Oh, yeah, Cubit does. So Cubit knows that PB's geotherm is unprotected. Considering that he's going for the power play, I would consider throwing a power surge on that geotherm.
Yeah, power surge, or dynamite, just anything, kind of shut that thing down.
Not immunity,
especially
because you want to take that power off the market.
Yeah, exactly. You can go for mutiny, but I think dynamite is really the way to go. Especially because steel's price is so high right now.
Yeah, I agree. And PBA just sold out all the steel. Another geotherm. Okay, well that changes things.
Yep.
Where was the geotherm? Oh, the EMP. Oh, he hit the power. Power and steel.
Yep.
Pretty so he's been hit twice now. Has had his steel knocked out, so he's going to be significantly behind Pbhead in steel at this point, I would think. Yeah, this Pbhead's already level 5. Wow. Yeah,
Pbhead's just tearing on ahead. He's had that steel production going strong this whole time. I believe he's actually moving into another steel mill we can see right now to try and take advantage of that high steel price and possibly allow himself to push a bit better toward an Offworld. If we go ahead and check those prices, we're going to see that food pushing close to $600 value Offworld, and so if Pbhead can get to that and establish it early, well, he's going to have that scientific bonus, so...
Yeah, you're right. The oxygen fuel prices are not great at all Offworld. I wonder if you noticed that early and that was part of the reasoning of food. I don't know.
Very well could be. We can see those reactors have gotten better than the farms at this stage of the game, finally. So I think this Offworld transition is definitely something PB should be looking for. He does have one claim stored up for it, if that is the case, and if that's what he wants to make happen.
You know, but it looks like the power play just did not work out for Cubit. He's now switching over to glass, and really he should have been glass a long time ago, I would say. Yeah, you have to be very careful when going for a power play, because yeah, he paid off his debt brilliantly. He only has 20,000 debt. PB has 120,000 debt. PB's stock price is still higher because he's just been making more money and sailing through upgrades this game, though. And Cubit stuck back on HQ level 3. He just didn't have the cash to get anything done this game. If you go for a power play, you have to be relentless with the black market, and really, it's most viable if you're scavenger, and it's least viable if you're playing against scientific. So, I just don't think he just wouldn't have had the speed to do it this game. Yeah. It should also be noted that Pbhead has managed to use his claim advantage to move into chemicals very effectively. Yeah. He's been in glass this whole time, cutting into Cubit's potential glass profits. So PB's just making a lot of money around this map, and Cubit's going to need to get to an upgrade or some of those extra claims he loves so much in order to kind of catch up and manage to push through and keep up with PB's expansion. Thankfully he does. That's HQ level 4 available for Cubit. I just hear furious tapping back there. Interestingly enough, Pbhead moving into additional farms. This is going to be losing him significant amounts of money now that the dust storm came online. But of course, PB responding to that immediately, shutting his farms down. Perhaps a bit strangely, because he could have left his farms on top of water online. I don't think he really noticed that mistake, shutting down all of his food production, rather than just the 3 that were actually costing him money. However, Pbhead has finally managed to go ahead and push into that off-world market. It is defended by a goon squad already. That guarantees one launch with fantastic profits from this low food price. It's going to be like $50,000 off of just that launch, and the auction is completely unimportant. Auction coming out for Water Engine. I would have considered that if I were PB, actually, taking Water Engine this game. He already has access to a significant amount of water if he wants it, but he is going to pass it up. So that's going to keep supporting Cubit's fuel production, this idea that Water Engine would have replaced PB's reliance on fuel with a reliance on water. Maybe it would have cut into Cubit's profits just a bit.
Pbhead
water engine recommendation. You heard it here first.
Definitely. This game, of course, water engine recommendation. Look at this. PB's got so much water that he could take, right? He already had access to a high water tile and a medium water tile very easily. He already had a high water tile taken. And Cubit's making fuel, and on top of that, PB's already drinking in fuel because he's got these chem labs down, right?
Sure.
So yeah, water engine. Why not?
Well, people often group water engine and cold fusion together, but water engine is, generally speaking, just straight up better.
Oh, just straight up better than cold fusion. Totally different scenario, right? Cold fusion, you're going the wrong way. You're switching from an unlimited resource, almost, to a very limited resource. The least limited out of the, like, dozen standard resources we have, but still a limited resource for cold fusion. Whereas with water engine, you're doing the opposite. You're taking a resource that is plentiful and using that instead of a resource that just takes a bit more effort to generate. So
well, see, he tried one dynamite against the Offworld market, but I mean, I think at this point this game is.
I think at this point Cubit is so far behind. He has managed to hit HQ level 5, which is a big deal because his stock price is very high. $23 stock price right now for Cubit, but it might just be too little too late at this point.
Yeah.
We're not surprised, just disappointed.
It's also kind of sad watching a scientific versus scientific match because you really don't get a whole lot of the black market going on. Both players are sitting here going, "Ah, well, I guess I could," but
they're both sitting on an unused goon squad. That's what I see right now.
Not too surprising for PB. Cubit, on the other hand, you know, Cubit, I don't know if he was expecting PB to finally attack him somewhere important.
I mean, he's close to an Offworld market. He's only 10,000 away from being able to build one.
Yeah, well, glass's price has come way down. Steel's price has come way down. Maybe a bit of a misplay from PB there, overproducing steel once he had gotten to an Offworld. But even if Cubit gets it constructed, which he just started it, it's 2 minutes until that thing makes him any money.
Yeah.
So he's still not in a good way. I do worry that PB is getting a bit complacent with his tiles after pushing to that fast of an Offworld. He has at least moved out of his fuel and out of his chems and into carbon in this moment, which is a good play given that carbon's price has gone up to $72 and fuel is up at $113.
Yeah.
But I worry he could be transitioning some of these other things around a bit better to maybe make a bit more money at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's got a goose. Well, he's got a goose squad up. He's just one launch away from winning the game.
Exactly. That's also kind of how you can look at it. Is Cubit just fell so far behind that I don't know if he'll manage to catch up. Now, one big play here from Cubit is he's managed to push into the carbon near his base and connect it to his base, along with some power. You almost want to see a power surge from PB on all of that nonsense, rather than a $30,000 goon squad being purchased, because that's going to be a lot of carbon in Cubit's pocket.
Yeah. PB has a 76%.
Yep. But here's the thing. Cubit's starting to buy into Pbhead stock. Will it be enough to keep him afloat?
He needs 450k to buy him out.
Yeah. But all you have to do really is keep making those small purchases.
Yeah, it goes down as you start buying it. Realistically, he needs maybe 250.
Yeah, he's starting to get there, but of course, Cubit sitting here awaiting orders. There goes the launch for PB. Cubit never getting a single launch off of his Offworld. PB's going to easily take that game 1-0 in the series.
It's tough. When PB has the advantage on you,
it's hard to fight back.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I want to point out something real quick, because I know I catch a lot of flack for saying this these days, now that I've decided on it in my head, is this idea that early claims are a trap. And I want to point it out right here, basically. Cubit went for an early claim. I think he even potentially went for quite a few claims, right? He went for 2 claims purchased.
Yeah, he went for 2, spent
the
10,000
2 first claims. He spent $10,000 on those. He was so far behind in tiles for so long that game because he could not reach HQ level 4, because he could not reach HQ level 5. I think if you're going to do something like that, you really need to focus on making money to cover the cost. I don't think he could afford that power play. He just didn't have the cash on hand to make it happen. He never made money off of any of his power, period, all game long. And if you're going to go in to the black market that heavily, you need to make enough money to cover the cost. And Cubit definitely didn't do that this game.
Yeah, I made a power play against Gameslayer, but that's because I knew I was going to be able to work my way out of debt.
Exactly.
That was my entire goal. And it only paid off because of that. Otherwise, you're just, you're lowering your debt, which means you're going to stay in the game longer, but it doesn't, your opponent is actually doing something with their claims.
Exactly. And sitting on more claims as well, because PB just got to HQ level 5 while Cubit was still stuck on HQ level 3. I mean, that's such a huge difference.
To me, is all about that level 3 found. Cubit was in, I think, the better position on the map, which was ironic since he found it second. And he could have upgraded to level 3 right after PB did, and could have grabbed that fourth water, get 4 of those 6 waters, which meant Pbhead would not have had 3 farms. And I think it just would have made a huge difference in the match. Yeah,
I think that was certainly important. Cubit may be being a bit slow on that front, but I still liked Pbhead's found. I mean, Cubit maybe had a bit better access to certain things on this map, but I think it was a real big deal that Cubit had basically a wasted tile sitting out in the middle of nowhere on aluminum, and PB didn't. All of PB's tiles had a purpose and a use that game. Every last one. Whereas Cubit's, the same cannot be said with that aluminum tile sitting out there like that. It's just maybe small missteps, but against Pbhead, that will absolutely get you killed in this game. There's a reason this is the finals.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we got potentially 4 more, so...
Right, best of 5 here today, correct?
Yep.
So, I think these players are usually kind of anxious. They'll want to get going, so I'll start up another lobby for game 2.